We're in the home of Mrs. Fayreen Harris, Mrs. Earl Harris here in Muleshoe this afternoon, and it's been a very special last day of school at Mary DeShazo's Elementary School this May the 31st, 1989. We have with us two of the children of Mrs. Mary DeShazo, or Mrs. Jinx DeShazo, who taught in the Muleshoe schools for many, many years. Nell Weems on my right is from El Paso, her daughter, and her son, John Weems, from Dallas. Now, John, what did I say, Weems? Thank you for correcting me, Nell. DeShazo, you know, that's sort of like saying that somebody's named DeShazo to us. That's like saying John Wayne came here, you know. That's really extra special, so I just couldn't imagine putting DeShazo behind somebody's name, I guess.
It's a tremendous occasion for us to be back in Muleshoe. We're thoroughly enjoying this.
That's great. Were you reared here, John?
Yes, born here and lived here until I graduated from high school, went to college and to the service, and obviously I never did come back here to live, but other than to visit my parents.
Wouldn't your mother and father be pleased?
Well, I would hope that they would be.
Oh, I can tell you they would. They would be so pleased. Now, Nell, you live in El Paso.
Right.
How long have you lived in El Paso?
About 35 years.
So you're not a newcomer to that city.
Right, no.
Now, are you married?
My husband died a couple of years ago.
And what did he do?
He's a real estate appraiser.
Did you work outside the home?
No.
And how many children do you have, Nell?
I have 3. I taught until I had children.
And I know that must have pleased your mother that you followed her profession.
Well, I think so.
I'm sure it did. And your 3 children now, where are they?
They're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and my son is a veterinarian, and his wife is a photojournalist, and my daughter is a therapist at neonatal intensive care in Presbyterian Hospital. And her husband is a CPA. And my younger daughter is in her last year of vet school in College Station in Texas A&M.
And so are you the only one in your family in El Paso now?
Right.
Well, you better move home to Muleshoe.
Right.
When did you leave Muleshoe?
I went to college in '46, graduated from high school and went to college, and I graduated from West Texas State.
Your mother had gone to what was West Texas Normal, I understand.
She also graduated from West Texas State.
Oh, and did she get a master's? Or
No,
a
bachelor's.
A bachelor's then later on. Now, John, tell us about your family. Your wife is with us.
Yes, my wife Bonner is here with me from Dallas. We have one son, Chuck, who's recently graduated from Texas A&M, and he has started a new business in Dallas, primarily a gift care package business. And it's slow now, but he hopes it does better.
And what is your occupation, John?
I'm a consulting engineer. I have a consulting engineering firm, and our firm primarily is in the area of traffic and transportation.
And now, you left Muleshoe about what year?
I graduated from high school in 1944, and I guess for all practical purposes I left in '44. I have been back many times to visit, but '44, college, the service, and then work.
Right. Now, I believe there's one other in your family, a brother, is that right?
That's right, Jack. Jack is single. He's a prospector in Nevada.
In Nevada.
He keeps looking for that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
I am too.
Well, I guess all of us need to, yes.
So there were 3 in the DeShazo family, and all graduated from Muleshoe High School?
Correct.
Now, what year did your family come to Muleshoe, Nell?
I can't...
1923.
1923. John, where did they come from?
They moved here from Summerfield. My mother taught in Summerfield the previous year, and my father had had been farming someplace, and the two of them married and came to Muleshoe.
Do you know how they met?
Yes, when my mother's first teaching job was in Camp Springs, Texas.
Now that's outside of where?
Snyder.
Snyder.
And my mother had grown up in Snyder, and my father was a farmer at Snyder, they met during her first teaching term, and my father then was drafted into World War I, and so after World War I, they reunited and got married.
And what year did they marry?
I believe they married in 1923.
And came here then shortly thereafter.
That is right. This was their first home.
Now, was she had she just left West Texas Normal when she took that teaching job, or do you know?
I believe so. I think she just graduated at the time that she took the first job in Camp Springs.
Now, who were her parents?
Jeff and what's grandmother's name? Emma.
Grandmother.
Yes, grandmother, right. Isaacs.
And what do you know what they did?
He was a farmer, I believe, and she obviously was a housewife because she had about 9 children.
Oh, yes. And I believe Fayreen was the youngest and your mother was the oldest of that
Right,
family.
right.
Now, back in those days, you know, going to college today, that's almost for everyone. But then very few got to go to college. Do you know how she was interested in attending school or anything of why she went into the teaching profession? Did she ever share that with you?
You know, I don't know. It's just her nature. If you knew her, didn't you?
No, she was dead before we moved here.
Okay, well,
Tell us about her nature. We want to know about Mary DeShazo.
she never stopped, but she never stopped helping people. Maybe Dick could share.
I think
Dick, we need to, John and Dick, you, people here know you as Dick, right?
that is right. I think that as Nell mentioned, her love was people. Her love was young people, and she had an interest in those people while they were students, and then as those students graduated from elementary school, she followed them to their lives as they went to high school, college. Many of them in those days went directly into the service. She followed their careers in the service as they married, and then as they had families. She had the opportunity of teaching several generations of families here in Muleshoe.
Do you know about when she started teaching in Muleshoe?
Well, her first, it was in 1920, either 23 or 24.
Do you know anything about how she got the first job?
I wish I did, but I really don't.
We should ask. Peyton, can you relate to Fayreen told the Cub Scouts who were really interested, it said that the teachers in Muleshoe who were married were not allowed to teach in 1923. Yes. And so George Nelson, who, by the way, is Hazel Gilbreth's father, Hazel still lives here in Muleshoe, it was George and Pink Nelson. Pink was his wife. Well, George was on the school board, so he said he would propose to the school board, as I understand it, that she be hired. And so it's my understanding there was a little house on West 3rd Street where you were today. It was right to where you were sitting. It would have been to the east of the Mary DeShazo block. See, that's a big 2-block area there. This little house, and I believe Mr. DeShazo was a carpenter also.
That is right.
Okay. And he had built this little house. It's one room, and they lived there. And she, I was told, was very public. Like, she loved to go and present programs, is that right? And she loved to get out in the public and attend meetings and mix with everybody. And so she wanted to go to the school board meeting. Mr. Nelson said that would not be proper. So he said he would throw a rock over to the house if they elected for her to come, you know, and teach at the school. And they did, so he threw the rock over, you know, and she was hired as a lady who was married as a school teacher. But did she stay here and teach all those years? Or?
She taught until for several years, and then when the children started to come along, she gave up teaching, and then I think during the Depression she elected to go back to the teaching profession, and at that time she taught, as I remember, in a two-room schoolhouse in Progress, Texas, for several years prior to coming back to the Muleshoe schools.
I was looking at some of the records. It said March 38 through 52. She was here all those years. Now, what did she teach mostly, Nell?
She taught in the primary grades mostly.
I had been told that first grade was her real love. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes, yes. She used to come home with the greatest stories, and I wish I could remember them, of what those little children would say every day.
Yeah, John, can you remember it?
I wish I could, but that's been 2 or 3 years ago.
Right, I understand. You know, the little house that your father built that was on West 3rd Street, I believe between Avenue C and D, it's still here in Muleshoe today. And this little house is at the corner of West 2nd and West Avenue K, behind Ruby Gardner's house.
I'll try to find that.
You do. You'll see it and you'll say, that's it, because it's very old and it's one room. And Miss Harris said that this was the house your father had built. Now, who is the oldest in your family of the 3 children?
I am.
You are. So you were born here in Muleshoe?
Yes.
And I guess you started to school in Muleshoe?
I did.
Did you ever have your mother as a teacher?
No, I never did.
That's unusual back, especially in those years.
I believe that perhaps my brother or my sister may have. I guess my brother did, but I never did. I wish that I could have.
I don't think Jack did either. I think they purposely didn't.
Now, where did you start to school? What was it, on that location where we were today in the gymnasium area?
They had a school that was on that no longer stands. That was in the that was south. Excuse me, that was east of the area where we currently were today, or maybe that's south.
But it was right there on that, toward the
south.
I call that east,
Okay.
but it's not due east, I don't really think. This town is not laid out right with the world, you might say. And now, who were some of your friends now that you grew up with here in Muleshoe?
I started kindergarten with Margaret Ann Johnson, Jack Young, Norma Lee Osborne. Let's see. I hate to leave out anyone, but Nell Buchanan.
She's Nell Gable.
Right. Quite a few of us started a kindergarten together. Little one was a year ahead of me.
Well, isn't that, who were some of your friends, John?
Bruce Horsley, Paul Gardner.
Now, Bruce Horsley is Mrs. Chet Horsley, or Allie Horsley's son, that was with you today, right?
That is right, and his son is Lee Horsley, the television star.
And you know what his grandmother would say? And there's another son, Van. I'm just as proud of Lee and Van equally. She's a true grandmother.
Both of them are real fine people.
They are.
Bill Pearson, June Wagnon, Sugar Glaze.
Yes, he just walked in.
Alfred Hicks, his sister Alice Hicks. Nina Starkey, many others.
That's great. How did you feel about coming home today?
I was very excited because I haven't come home for a happy occasion. I've been home for sad occasions. So
that was really nice. Did you have butterflies, John?
Oh, I surely did, and obviously I had come in from outside where it was rather warm, and the inside was the gymnasium was warm, and perspiration just really rolled off of me as I was saying a few words to all of those fine students there today.
How did you feel about the school and seeing the actual students and the teachers and principal? How did you feel about that, and how do you think your mother would feel?
Oh, she would feel proud, and obviously to look at those fine young people and realize that obviously that's our future. And every one of them was excited. The bright expressions on their faces and the look out of their eyes and so forth. It was just a privilege being there.